Do you like scary movies? Me too! Join me today as I dive into the best horror movies that are actually adaptations of literature. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Jim, the father of this father son show, Fantasy for the Ages, where we talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things we love. For today, being October, we're talking horror. And we is me and you, because Zach's not here for this particular series. I'm going to be covering over the 5 next episodes the top 25 horror adaptations. How am I ranking these? What's my qualifier? I'm talking about how excellent is the movie, not how closely it adapts the book, though often that is very much in sync to make it very good because the literature these movies come from are spectacular. Some are books, some are novellas, some are short stories. I'll highlight them each time. But what came to the screen, 24 of these are movies, one is a television miniseries. They're just so rich with great content that if you watch it alone in the dark on a spooky, windy night, you're gonna be freaking yourself out. These are all terrific. You start with great source material, you end up with a good adaptation as long as the actors, directors, and designers have a clue what they're doing. For these 25, they had more than a clue. All fantastic. So today I'll be doing, starting from the bottom, 25 up to 21. And then come back tomorrow and succeeding days to get the rest of the list. I hope you'll enjoy this and show us by hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we encourage you to do so. We've got over 1,000 videos here on our channel, all for your entertainment. And some of them make great recommendations of things to read or watch, like today. So check them all out. All right, let's get to the list here. Starting at number 25, man, what a great movie, Misery, which came out in 1990. It's based on the book Misery by Stephen King, which was published in 1987. This movie has a famous novelist, Paul Sheldon, being rescued from a car crash by an obsessed fan, Annie Wilkes, as she nurses him back to health. Paul thinks at first, what good luck that he was saved, but nah, he soon realizes she has no intention of letting him leave until he rewrites the ending of his latest book to her satisfaction. The intense psychological battle between the protagonist and the antagonist makes this a gripping thriller, anchored by Kathy Bates the first time she came to my attention, and she won an Academy Award for this performance. Number 24, a classic throwback, Frankenstein, the 1931 Universal Pictures original film. This is based on the book Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, by Mary Shelley, written all the way back in 1818. The movie is truly an adaptation, takes considerable liberties. The book is merely the source inspiration for what we see on the screen. In the movie, Dr. Frankenstein creates life by reanimating a patchwork corpse. But the resulting creature, monstrous and misunderstood, causes terror as it struggles with its identity. The film captures the tragic consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. Boris Karloff's portrayal of the monster, combined with atmospheric gothic horror, makes it an iconic and influential work in the horror genre. True fact, the original studio theatrical release was deemed too scary and had to be re-edited. People were passing out in the theater, particularly the scene with the monster and the little girl and the flowers. Too much for people back in the day. Wow, if they could see what we watch now. Number 23 is the one TV illustration I have here, and that's The Haunting of Hill House, the miniseries that was on Netflix back in 2018. This is based on the book The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which came out way back in 1959. It has been adapted multiple times, but this TV series might be the one that finally figured it out. The Crane family deals with the trauma of their haunted past after spending a summer in Hill House, where supernatural events caused immense tragedy. The series shifts between the past and present, unraveling the psychological damage left by the house. This is an emotionally rich narrative, coupled with masterful suspense and horror, and it elevates it as a modern take on the haunted house trope. And I mean, come on, it's October. We all love a haunted house right now. Number 22 on my list is The Wicker Man. Oh, not that more modern, recent version with Nicolas Cage. That is not very good. But the original 1973 version, which is an adaptation of the book Ritual by David Pinner, written in 1967. In this movie, a devoutly Christian police sergeant travels to a remote Scottish island to investigate a missing girl, only to uncover a pagan society that leads him into a terrifying ritual. The film builds dread through its eerie atmosphere and cultural clashes. The unsettling blend of folk horror, psychological tension, and the shocking finale cement it as a cult classic. Notice, I'm not telling you too much about what these movies are about because if you haven't watched them, you need to go watch them, and I'm not going to ruin these great endings. My last one for today, number 21 on this top 25 list, is Hellraiser, the 1987 film, which is an adaptation of the book The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, written in 1986. In this movie, a man opens a mysterious puzzle box, releasing sadistic beings known as Cenobites, who drag him into their hellish dimension while his family becomes embroiled in horrific events. The movie explores the relationship between pain and pleasure in gruesome fashion. This is not a movie for the easily grossed out. Wow. The groundbreaking practical effects and the introduction of the iconic villain Pinhead offer a unique, visceral horror experience. I will tell you, Hellraiser is not for everybody. There are many sequels to Hellraiser, and varying levels of success, but this first one, based right on the book, mwah, beautiful. Well, that's my first 5 of the list. What do you think? Have you watched these movies? Do you have thoughts? Have you read the books they're based upon? I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's what the comment box is for. Drop your thoughts down there and I will be sure to respond. Also, look in the show notes for other ways you can interact with Zach and I, our social media links, our email, our Discord server, where well over 100 people hang out with us and talk about books, movies, and again, other nerdy things. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.